Guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. I'm sure you are after our demolition of Millwall on Sunday. However, that's gone. And whilst I've enjoyed lapping it up the last couple of days, it's time to move on. We have another battle on our hands. We travel to Hull Wednesday night, which is tomorrow night. And it's going to be a tricky game. Hull are currently unbeaten at home and they're on a 5-game unbeaten streak. But before we get into my predicted lineup, match prediction, etc., please give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and get your comments in, guys. Let me know what you think that the score will be in the starting lineup, etc., etc. So as you can see, guys, this is our head-to-head with Hull over the years. We actually do all right against Hull, which sort of surprised me a bit because it felt like one of those teams we always struggled against. But we're unbeaten in our last 4 visits to Hull, only losing 1 in our last 8, this including that League Cup game there. We actually do all pretty decent against Hull. So I mean, you take that with a pinch of salt because times change, things move on. However, it is worth taking into account that traditionally we do travel well to Hull. So yeah, that's something going for us. Now I'm just going to jump into my predicted starting lineup for this one. Now, if this game was on a Saturday and we'd had a bit of rest, then I think it would pretty much just be the same squad as it was against Millwall. But it's a long old season. We've got a couple of niggling injuries. I think we will see a little bit of rotation. Ignore the numbers on their shirts. That's just, I didn't bother changing all that. But I'm going to go with Meslier between the sticks again, despite coming under a bit of criticism. He's kept 2 clean sheets in a row, and I think he's been making some brilliant saves. But sometimes I feel like he's a victim of the Leeds United agenda. But yeah, Meslier between the sticks. Obviously, it'll be Ayling right back as Jed Spencer's going to be out for, was it 8 weeks? Which is disappointing. But yeah, Ayling right back. I actually think Ayling done pretty well against Millwall. I think Daniel Farke sort of relieved him a bit of his attacking duties and told him to concentrate more on defence and just sort of let the front 4 get on with it. He was still going forward a bit, but I thought we saw a bit more of a reserved performance by Ayling, and that sort of restricted the amount of times they could get it in over his head behind him, which is where he suffers most. Strelk and Rodon will be centre back again. I think they're getting a nice little partnership going, them two there. So I think that will stay as it is. Left back, I've put Sam Byram, but I do think him and Shax will share that position on Wednesday. I think you might see almost one starting and playing 60 minutes and the other one playing the remainder of the 30. Listen, Sam Byram just come back from an injury. He hasn't got the best record with injury. I think Daniel Farke will be keen to keep an eye on him, but I do still back him to start. But I think it's almost certain that he'll get hooked off around 55, 60 minutes. Pretty much the same for the centre mids as well. I think Ampadu will play because, you can't not start Ampadu. He's been absolutely terrific, probably our best player this season. And I think next to him, I think Archie Gray might get a rest. Listen, he's been phenomenal. And in an ideal world, if there was a week's break between Millwall and Hull, then Archie Gray would start. But he needs protecting. He's a very, very young lad. He needs protecting. And playing Saturday, Sunday, and then Wednesday, and then again at the weekend, I don't think it's going to do him the world of good. So I've got a feeling he might get a little rest this game. I think he'll feature, but I don't think he'll start. And if that's the case, then I won't be totally against that because, to be honest, we do need to protect Archie Gray probably more than anyone on our team. So I think you might see Kamara start. And look, let's be honest, or it could even be Gruev as well. But they're not bad replacements, are they? Gruev or Kamara in for Archie Gray. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Ampadu and Kamara starting against Hull. Now, front 4 going forward, I mean, they terrorised Millwall on the counter, absolutely terrorised them. And to be honest, I think it might be similar to Hull, although they would have watched, our game against Millwall and they would have seen how deadly it was on the counter. And they'll also be aware of the fact that against a low block, we do struggle a bit. All 3 of our home games are key examples of that. However, it's not often home teams set up with a low block. They're a home side. They're going to try and win the game. Hull are unbeaten at home. They're sitting in the playoffs at the moment, only a couple of points above us, but they're 5 games unbeaten. They picked up a impressive win away to Leicester, and they haven't lost at home yet. I think they've won 1 and drawn 2, so they've only won 1, but they're still unbeaten at home. So they're no mugs hole. It's going to be a tricky game, you know. But anyway, getting back onto the starting lineup in the attacking line, I think we'll see Nonto again out wide. I think we'll see Perot again, sort of behind Rutter up front. The interchanging and the fluidity of the passing and stuff. But out wide, I think we might see Somerville have a rest. You know, he's just come back from an injury. He played brilliant against Millwall. A bit sloppy at times, but so direct, and he terrifies defences. But I think we might see James or Anthony out there for the start of this game. I think Somerville will be one of those who Farker wants to protect a bit, and then he'll probably start again at the weekend. I think we might see Dan James and Nonto on the wings, Perot and just behind Rutter. And because at the end of the day, guys, this is not the team that I'd necessarily want, but I don't want injuries, right? And if Somerville and Byram, coming back from injuries, and Archie Gray's just a young lad, he's already probably played more than he should have by this stage of the season, then we've got to chop and change it. It's a long old season. We've got to hang on in there. We've got to use the resources available. And I think we will see a little bit of rotation this game. Interestingly, Hull sort of adopt the same formation as us, 4-2-3-1. And listen, I can't profess to say that I've seen a whole lot of Hull City, but from what I've been looking at the last couple of days, you know, they're a good side. They're really not a bad side. They'll be much more of a challenge than Millwall were. Obviously, they've got Delap on loan from City, who scored a couple of goals, and they've got Tufan and Connolly, who have both scored 4 goals already this season. They're no mugs, put it that way. If we don't turn up, we'll lose the game. So we need to put in that same kind of performance that we did against Millwall. You know, typical away performance, absorb a bit of pressure, and then silence the crowd when nothing goes for them and smash them on the counter, and we will. And you know, no matter who we start, if we've got, you know, Somerville on the bench, James on the bench, Anthony on the bench, whoever, we've got people to bring on to change the game if it is getting tight towards the latter stages. But yeah, make no mistake, Hull are not a bad side, so it's going to be a difficult one. But I'm going to go with I think we're going to win the game 2-0. I think we're going to score early on, absorb pressure, and then kill them at the end in the 80th minute ish. Yeah, so I'm going for Hull City 0, Leeds 2. Get your predictions in the comment below what you think the score is going to be and the starting lineup, and anything else you want to discuss, guys. But yeah, that's it from me. Just a little deep dive into the game tomorrow night. I'm quite looking forward to it, actually. And you know, it's going to be interesting to see where we're at after dismantling Millwall, to see if we can build on it. Then obviously we got Watford at home on Saturday. So, you know, in 4 or 5 days' time, we could be firmly wedged in the playoffs, and you know, that will set the platform up for the rest of the season. So yes, guys, enjoy your afternoon, and enjoy the game tomorrow night as well. And I shall see you again very soon.